Hey, I'm Jack Kelly with Kelly's Landscape and Tree Service. I'm doing this video because every spring somebody asks me, hey, how do I trim this bush or tree without killing it? Most people don't even trim their bushes. You know the reason? They're afraid they're going to kill their plants. It just cracks me up. Here's what I want to do. So I want to just show you the drawings of my beautiful trees behind me and just give you the basics, okay? Now here's a tree. And here's a branch coming down. We don't want this guy. The reason being is he's going to grow down into the ground. Why waste all that energy of the tree to a branch that's going to eventually grow right down to the ground? Get rid of it. Okay. The most important thing about trimming is when you have a heavy branch like this, you want to thin it out. See all these branches coming down? Just get rid of those guys and structure out your tree. It's okay to have branches coming down. And say this looks unbalanced, you want to have this branch here, well, cut the little ones off, and then it has a nice long structure. Is fine as long as it's going back up in the upward direction. And the most important thing about pruning is when you make a cut, say you want to reduce this branch but you don't want to cut the whole thing off, well, you always want to make your cut at the crotch, right in here. Cut that right off in here. A lot of people make the cut here, and what happens is this will die back all the way to the branch and create dead wood. So you always want to trim at the crotch. So cut this one off right there, so you get rid of this guy, so that your tree is all structured nice. Now the reason I took the time to draw this out is because, see, this tree here has way too many branches. So, you know, when they're really thick like this, you get rid of that extra weight that you don't need. This branch here, he's growing right back into itself, so you want to get rid of this guy. And then when you're done, you'll have a free-flowing structure that's strong, and it will not break, and it can handle the winds. That's the other thing. When you're pruning, you always keep in mind, well, can this branch physically handle like a 40, 50 mile an hour wind passing through it? And if it's too thick, you want to lighten it up so that once it's out in leaf, all the wind goes through the tree, passes through it without catching it like a big parachute and blowing it over. This is one thing you do not want to do. I call this a hat rack. You know, you see everybody doing this, just cutting the limbs right off. And the reason you don't want to do that is because, say you have a stub here that you just cut off. Well, okay, it's structurally nice looking maybe now, but then next year or next couple of weeks, you're going to have about 10, depending on the tree, or 12 branches coming out of that one cut. And that's a super weak spot right there. You would never want to do this to a tree. You can do it to bushes. And some trees like hollies, yeah, you can do that because they'll fill in fast, and then you just shape the new foliage that comes out. But never do this to any hardwood trees, ever. That's just not done. I see so-called professional companies, they're not professional at all, they're totally uneducated, doing this all the time. That means they're new in the business, they don't know how to trim, and they're just mimicking the lines clearers that have to cut it like that. So never do that. If you trim a tree correctly, it'll have a nice free-flowing structure, nice and strong, and it's just nothing's touching, and the winds can pass through it. So that's your basic tip. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something, and we'll see you on the next video.